with respect to this question about how do we bring more joy into our life in a sustainable, ongoing, continuous way, this practice that we're going to do, this 3x3 practice, is one way to think about this. So know that this is scalable. We're going to kind of run through this, and you could think about doing this, very quickly yourself, or you could take, 3 minutes, you run through this, or you could think about doing this, over 30 minutes. So it's completely a scalable practice. But let me describe the elements of it conceptually, and then we will do the practice physically. So the three times three are the three elements are intention, integration, and practice. So we don't really get anywhere unless we intend to get there. Otherwise, we're just kind of shooting in the dark, going around aimlessly, trying to, if you have a destination in mind, if you want to get somewhere, then to intend to get there is something that is important. To have intention, to have to back your energy in a particular kind of mindful, conscious way. And that in terms of providing more joy in our lives, that what allows us to experience joy, I like the thing that was mentioned, that it is an inner experience, not an outer one. And so part of the way that we access this inner experience is that there are all kinds of things that are happening in our lives, and that what is helpful is to be able to integrate the things that are happening to us. And so as energy moves through us, is metabolized, confronted, experienced, and it moves through our system, that allows us to experience it and release it, and that helps us to step inside our joy and really to experience life. That's the whole point of this, is to be able to experience our lives more fully. And practices, to do activities over and over, that what we pay attention to, what we do over and over, is who we become. So we have an intention to do integration through certain practices, is what this 3x3 is. And so if you don't already have water, I'd like to just take 30 seconds. If you are able to grab a glass of water in like 30 seconds, if you could just do that right now, go grab some water, please. And I will just take a beat so that people can step away, if you don't have water next to you, to go get you some water. Let us begin with our breath. And so the thing I would like you to do is to sit at the edge of your chair, drop your knees so that your feet are sort of close to being underneath your butt, and lift your torso up. So you're sitting up straight. Now, from this position, if your knees are inclined downwards by sitting at the edge of your seat, and your torso is upright, when you breathe in, what you will notice is that you breathe quite naturally into your belly. So I just want you to notice what it's like to breathe into your belly, because so frequently we breathe into our chest. So this is the first shift, to breathe and to resource by breathing into our bellies. So even when you move away from this position, you can still have body memory of this experience. So just take a moment to notice how it's different to breathe into your belly as opposed to breathe into your chest. So your breath is always with you. This is your reminder. Anytime you have an awareness of your breath, that can be an awareness of an intention of coming back to, oh, you're right, I was trying to do something. Anytime you notice your breath, that is a way to help you to come back to the thing that you have as your intention. So, what I would like you to do, we're going to move away from intention. We're going to come back to intention, but we're going to start the process of talking about integration. And the first thing I'd like to call attention to is that the things that we are integrating are our bodies, our emotions, and our minds. That's the thing that we're trying to integrate. That when we are able to bring alignment to our body, our minds, and our emotions, that inside our body, that is what allows things to like channel, go through our system, metabolize. That is where our power is. That if you speak from a place that is connected to your body and your emotions and your mind, speaking from that place makes you, the words that you speak will be more powerful words. Francesca, did you have a question? Uh, so that's what we are integrating our bodies, our minds, and our emotions. And what I would like to say is that we typically do one dominantly, one secondarily, and third one we neglect. So think about in your own life, what's the thing that what's your dominant sphere, and these are all centers of intelligence. And so when we do not focus our energy and attention on all domains, our centers of intelligence, what happens is that some domains get overused. So if you're not paying attention to your body, as an example, then you have a hard time getting out of your head. You can't unfocus. You're just like, ah, or it might happen in your emotional space where you're like, you're up and down, and you can't like, you're so emotional. Or if you're perhaps what will happen is that you overfocus in your headspace and you're not connected to your body. And so what happens in your body is now you have belly aches. Now in your body, you can't calm down. You can't sleep. You have tension that you just cannot let go. So what happens is that we over process in some domain and we are unable to process through others. We have blockages. So we want to be able to do some practice that allows us regularly to process through our bodies, our emotions, and our minds. And by our minds, what I mean is not the content of your mind. By mind, I mean the quality of your mind. Are you like, is it intense and focused? Are you just like unable to focus? Are you constantly distracted? Are you confused a lot? You can't bring clarity to mind. So it's the quality of mind. So the integration is among those three centers of intelligence, but we're going to just take up one for our practice, which is our body. But we need to integrate those three things together. With inside the body center of intelligence, here are three practices. So the first practice is to tune into your body and just to simply notice sensation. And where can you experience sensation? Notice where perhaps you don't experience sensation. So becoming attuned to noticing the sensations that are happening in your body is the first level of practice, just simply sensation. So I would like to move us to, so that you could spend a little time, you could spend 5-10 minutes just thinking about that or noticing that. But I'm going to move us to the second practice, which is about connection and flow. Now the first thing is I want you to So I want you to see when you're connected to your body, where is the place in your body that you feel most comfortable, where you feel most grounded, where you feel safe? Where's the part in your body that feels like home? Where is that? And sometimes it's not easy to find. And so maybe it's going to be a relative place, like a relative to other parts of my body. This is more grounded. It's not the place of ground, but it's more grounded. That might be fine for this moment. But if you can find a place that feels like home, I want you to stay connected to that. I'm going to stand up to do something. I want you to stay connected. I'm going to actually ask you to do this eventually, but I want you to stay connected to that place of home, of ground, wherever that is in your body. We're going to work with that space when we do connection and flow. Stay connected as I stand up. When you stand up, I want you to stand up connected to that place. Do not stand up yet. What you're going to do when you stand up is you're going to straddle your feet, left foot in front, right foot behind, and you're going to rock. Stay connected to your center. You're going to rock back and forth. So you're going to bend your knees forward and bend your knees backwards. So you will rock, easy rock back and forth. That's what you're going to do with your body. And what you will do with your hands is you're going to create a circle 8. So you're going to push forward and you're going to pull back, and it's going to be like a circle 8. Push forward and pull back as you're rocking. So that's the movement that you're going to do as you stand forward. You're going to rock forward and come back and forward and back. So if you can stay connected to your place of grounding and stand up, straddle your feet. I'd like us to do this together. And you might have to stop or adjust your speed so that you can stay connected. But that connection and flow, I want you to feel into what that feels like to be connected and to be in flow, to be connected and in flow. That's the circle 8, pushing forward, pulling back, much like a infinity sign. And I'd like you to experiment. If you can stay connected, to experiment with going a little faster. And when you go faster, just notice what that does to your connection. And then go slower. Experiment with going slower than you were before. How does that affect your connection? So in terms of this concept of connection and flow, what we know about ourselves is that sometimes we need to upshift and sometimes we need to downshift. And sometimes we are in upshift and we don't want to downshift, but when we do downshift, we're like, thank God. I needed that. So this is in your practice of downshifting. If you're an upshifting person that doesn't think about downshifting, you might find in doing this practice that downshifting feels very comfortable to you. Or on the other side, you might be the person who has a hard time shifting. And so you are in downshift and upshift. You're like, I don't like to upshift. And that might be something that's part of your personality. Like, I don't want to go too fast. But to be more comfortable upshifting might be something that you might need to do to maintain connection and flow. So connection and flow is being able to both upshift and to downshift and still stay connected to self. You might need to practice doing both of those, moving up and moving back, to shift up, to shift down. So that is practice number 2. Here's practice number 3. That is noticing your length. So bringing attention from the top of your head and going gradually down to your feet. Noticing that, every part in between that, noticing length, integrating length. That is essentially the integration of heaven and earth, the integration of spiritual and practical. So being connected in those two domains. Width, left to right, east to west, rising, falling. This is the movement across opposites. So moving from your dominant side, whatever that is, for me it's my left, to notice my body and all the dimensions of my body, moving from the left to the right. Noticing that and integrating that. The last integration is depth, which is back to forward. That's back to front. That is past to future. Noticing the back of my head, that my back, my lower back, my butt, and bringing my awareness from those things through my body to the front of my body, and being able to notice all the dimensions in between. That is our movement. Notice our preferences from away toward. So those 3 things, length, width, depth, which has corresponding things in life, as I just said, that noticing those, practicing those, paying attention to those will help us to embody our bodies more. We don't tend to think necessarily in all those domains, but to be able to practice occupying your body in all those ways gives us more connection to our bodies. That gives us more connection to subtle awareness and attunement. And that is what allows us to have experiences, occupy those experiences, live in those experiences, let them go. And that is what restores our health. So that is the practice. So the last thing that I wanted to consecrate this is, I want you to take your water and I want you to think about what aspect of this might be the thing that you need to do a little more of. And I want you to think about what's that intention. Put that intention into your water and drink your water.